This week on the show, we have Lainey Miles, the author of the Lost Forest Trilogy, The Legacy of the Golden Bird. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show is all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about the importance of knowing how valuable you are. Up your worth. The reality is most of us coast through life feeling small or not worthy of the things we truly want. This might not even be something you're aware of, but it's on a subconscious level. Those feelings of unworthiness lay at the surface, buried under all your beliefs, and stops you from going after what you truly want. I'm here to tell you that just you being alive makes you worthy. You don't need permission or validation from anyone to assure you of your value. You are worthy right now. Kick those subconscious beliefs out the door that tell you that you can't have it all, and start adopting the belief today that you are worthy of love, success, and a life filled with joy. Successful people know their inherent value and walk with the confidence knowing that their value doesn't come from anything external, but simply the fact that they were put on this earth with a purpose. As Max Lucado quotes, "You are valuable simply because you exist, not because of what you do or what you have done, but simply because you are." Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, I know that you want your readers to really share the same excitement that you felt reading. So tell us about that mission.
Well, I guess when I first started writing, I just let my imagination just kind of go wild. And I just started creating, just follow the situations and trying to figure out how everybody kind of got to be getting out of those situations. And so after the book came out, the reviews that I've been getting kind of lean, everybody says kind of the same thing, like they enjoyed the drama and the situations and the twists and turns of the story. So kind of made me feel like, people were kind of...
Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau. Next up on the show, we have Lainey Miles, the author of the Lost Forest Trilogy, The Legacy of the Golden Bird. Lainey, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Really excited.
Well, thank you for being here. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about, but before we get into all of that, let's talk about your love for reading. I know that you grew up reading fantasy books as a child and that you loved going to the library. So tell us about that time.
Well, there is a particular library in our town. I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, and there is this really cool library that my mom used to always take me to. It was called the Carnegie Public Library, and it was a really old building, and it had these really cool terracotta bricks, was built out of. And you go in, and you almost felt like you're in sort of a castle setting. And so,
Wow.
One of my favorite places to hang out, when I was 6. The steps seemed like they were huge. I'm sure they really weren't. Yeah, but go in there and grab a book and just sit down in like a little cubby hole area. You just felt like you were kind of surrounded in the castle. So it was super cool. And my parents, they read to us all the time, and so that's kind of how I got my love for books. We had a set of Grimm's fairy tales, which I loved, and also Nancy Drew was a big reader for me. Loved that mystery series. And then I guess Lord of the Rings, I loved, that. So I kind of looking back in the questions that you sent me, I guess kind of just combining all those together kind of reminds me of my book. So
Very nice. I share that passion of also going to the library. I also used to get really excited as a kid going, so I can completely understand that passion. And speaking about that, I know that you want your readers to really share the same excitement that you felt reading. So tell us about that mission.
Well, I guess when I first started writing, I just let my imagination just kind of go wild. And I just started creating, just follow the situations and trying to figure out how everybody kind of got to be getting out of those situations. And so after the book came out, the reviews that I've been getting kind of everybody says kind of the same thing, like they enjoyed the drama and the situations and the twists and turns of the story. So kind of made me feel like, people were kind of getting what I was writing about. So
Amazing. And fast forward, let's talk about your book, The Legacy of the Golden Bird, and some of the characters that we meet in the book.
Well, Chuck, so this is kind of a funny story. So I started writing this book about my sister's hamster. She was always, it sounds really weird, but always telling me these stories about her hamster, Chuck. So I just started writing a story about her hamster, Chuck. And then Solaire, the princess, was this beautiful white rat. So I started thinking about that, and I thought, silly me, when I make my movie, here I am thinking about making a movie, I wanted Chuck to be a handsome warrior and Solaire to be a beautiful princess. So then I changed the character from that, and both those characters, and then the story kind of developed from then on. And I have a great love for animals and insects and butterflies and stuff. So I just like incorporating, a bunch of different characters, Porcelain and Dodge. Dodge is a super cool hummingbird that's very protective over Porcelain because she's had a hard time growing up as a butterfly and a piranha. So he's very protective of her. And I think, my characters are all looking out for each other. That's kind of how I want them to be, like their family. And so kind of that.
Very interesting. And of course, this book is called Legacy of the Golden Bird. What is the symbolism behind the golden bird?
Well, the symbol behind the golden bird is, the premise behind it is, no matter how bad things get in your life, or the challenges you face, there's always hope. And so the premise is also, good versus evil, darkness and light. There's always the light and never the dark. You can always find your way out. So that's kind of the premise.
Very nice. And tell us a little bit more about the main character and some of the challenges she goes through.
Bera, the more I wrote and worked through Bera's character, actually, it just dawned on me that I was sort of writing about my mom.
Oh.
My father died when I was in my early 20s, and so she was left like in her mid-50s to take care of 3 girls, still watch out over them, making sure that we were okay. And she always looked out after us, always protected us, always was there for us, made sure, we were okay. So she passed away in 2016, and that was really difficult for me. She was like my best friend. But she's my inspiration for the book because I just admired her so much, and she was the protector. And so I think Bera's like the protector of everybody, and she's going to make sure that everybody's going to be okay. So it's kind of the driver of my story right now.
Very nice. And if there's one takeaway that your readers could take away from this book, what would it be?
Boy, just pursue your dreams. Look forward, not backwards. Friendships are important. Family's important. Just have really good priorities in your life, and just, follow your dreams. And work through situations even if they're difficult. And I think this is kind of, the book kind of kind of says that as well. You know, I like to put my characters in difficult situations, and then it's kind of fun, like working out how they get out of these situations. So that's kind of another avenue that I'm doing in the book. So
Very nice. And can we see more books coming with the Lost Forest trilogy?
yes, I'm currently working on the second book. There's some more intriguing characters. I think Optimus, my Octospy bad guy, is gonna get more evil, and and Prince Druck, they're best friends, and that's another dichotomy in the story. That's you know, these guys are bad guys, and we don't want them to succeed, but they're fierce friends. So that's another kind of weird dichotomy with those two guys. But then there's going to be something with that goes on with the turquoise vine. That's a big twist in the story that's coming up.
Very nice. And you know, how does it feel, you know, getting this book out and sharing your passion with everybody? I know that you said that you've gotten really great feedback from your readers. So tell us about that.
I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's just been kind of strange because I never thought I would be publishing a book.
Yeah.
And everybody says they have a book in them, but not everybody writes one and gets one out. And the more I wrote this book, I just decided that either quit writing or let's get this published and see what happens. And it's really cool to see people relating to Bera and just this little sorrowful bird that, you know, was found by this fierce warrior, and just the whole dichotomy of the emotions that I guess people are feeling from reading about all the characters and the story behind, you know, being brave, and, you know, you got to get through your goals and you know, find a solution to, you know, what I'm trying to work them through. So it's been really humbling to be able to have people like connect with what you're writing. It's been really cool.
Very nice. And if you can make the Golden Bird a movie, who would play Bera? I'm curious.
Wow.
I put you on the spot there.
I know you did. Boy, Bera. I don't know. Maybe Carrie Underwood. I love her.
Oh, very nice. Wow, I can actually see that.
I can kind of see her. She's pretty fierce. So
very nice.
Maybe she my top pick for Bera.
And Lainey, of course, there's Bera, but there's also a villain. Tell us more about the villain in the book.
So there's two main villains in my story. One is Prince Druck, Prince Druck Helvey, and the other one is Optimus, and he's an Octospy. But so Prince Druck, he's from a long line of, I guess, tyrants, and he was brought up very cruelly. His mother got, you know, threatened, and she had to leave. So he grew up under the guise of his mother, who was very cruel to him and taught him very terrible things. So he's a bad guy, and he's fine with being not a good person. Which is kind of another lesson in the story. You know, don't be cruel, be kind to people. And then there's also Optimus, and he and Optimus sort of grew up together. Optimus was the product of a terrible experiment that Prince Helvey's ancestors performed on him, combining an octopus with a spider. And so the whole procedure was really painful. And so Prince Druck kind of took care of Optimus, and they formed a very close relationship. And so throughout the book and in the next book, they're going to be more aggressive with Bera and Chuck and Solaire and the characters. So that's kind of their relationship, but they're not nice people.
And Lainey, I created my platform to inspire and to uplift and really showcase that anything is possible. So for any of our viewers that maybe has a great idea, but maybe it's fearful to get their idea out there, what would you say to inspire them and, do what you did and just go publish their idea?
I was thinking about that question as well. These are all great questions, by the way. I just think, fear is meant to be conquered.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't overcome it, you'll never do anything. And that's the bad thing about fear, because most of the time people are like doubting themselves and saying, oh, I just don't know if I can do this or not. And I think once you get over that hurdle, it also allows you to grow as a person, thinking, okay, I was afraid of that, but I got over it. And now I'm on to the next challenge. You just have to, and even if you fail, it's okay, because you're still learning and you're still growing as a person. So I think just conquering, that is very important. And just be yourself,
I think that's great advice. It's better just to try. And even if you fail, at least you won't have a regret, right? Because I think the worst thing in life is regrets. And looking back on your life and thinking, I should have done that, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And then, you run out of time. Life moves fast, right?
It does. And you're exactly right. Yeah. I mean, everybody has regrets, like, oh, I should have done that. Why, and that's that fear thing again, like, you say. So just get over it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And Lainey, for our viewers that want to purchase your book and learn more about your story, where can they do so?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I have a website, www.laineymiles.com. And that's where I'm at right now. And actually, I'm speaking about conquering fears. I'm getting ready to go live on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm going to do maybe a reading with Renzi. Renzi's my mini Aussie. So,
so cute. I
don't know. That's another thing I got to conquer. So we'll see.
Well, you definitely conquered one fear today, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing this, and honestly, it's a great book. And we're going to link the information below, so our viewers can purchase the book. And congratulations on all your success and being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Darriel. You're amazing. Thank you.
The Darriel Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.